Future City, Saudi Arabia. The Saudis are planning a new kind of tourist attraction for this year, one that no one on Earth has ever seen before. Have you got the chills yet? Saudi Arabia is well known for its oil, but the company is also planning a remarkable new city that represents something of a line in the sand, head in the clouds moment. Are you interested to explore this city virtually? Well, welcome back to Future Technology. You found the right place. In Saudi Arabia, NEOM conceived of a city of the future called The Line, which would focus on its residents. Some have called the plan a sea change for urbanism and the way people live in cities. The name of NEOM is a portmanteau of the Greek word for new, neos, and the Arabic word for future, mustaqbal. Prince and NEOM board chairman Mohammed bin Salman released the initial The Line plan in January 2021. The first thing that needs to be understood about the city that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hopes to conjure up in the desert along the Red Sea is that it is, in fact, a line. The line is envisioned as a 100-mile linear metropolis of 9 million souls that will serve as a monument of human civilization on par with the pyramids. On the surface, it would appear that the comparison is valid. A line, like a pyramid, is a shape. The Greek word for new is combined with an M for the prince's given name to create the name of the planned community in the desert where this line is located. It is bigger than anything else in the area, measuring as long as Long Island and as tall as the Empire State Building, and it has the capacity to hold all of New York City's residents. When future explorers came across its rounded edges protruding from the carbon-heated sea, they will be baffled as to what the heck it was all about. So the question is, what exactly is the concept driving this architecture? The footprint of the line was built to be approximately 34 square kilometers in size and was designed to accommodate approximately 9 million residents. It's estimated that the project will cost $500 billion. All of the facilities will be accessible to residents on foot and via high-speed rail that can be reached in 20 minutes. The plan for the project was developed with a model in which residents can reach the facilities they require in a span of 5 minutes using foot travel. The location of the line is envisioned as a connection between the coast of the Red Sea and the northwest of Saudi Arabia. The line is included in the Saudi Arabian plan known as the 2030 Vision. In addition, NEOM suggested that AI could keep an eye on the line and look for ways to improve day-to-day life by making use of data and various predictive models. Renewable sources of energy would be used to power the line. Bin Salman claims that the entire development will be completely pollution-free and will have a net zero carbon footprint. Do you know, NEOM claims that there will be no roads, cars, or emissions, that it will run on 100% renewable energy, and that 95% of the land will be preserved for natural habitats. Isn't that amazing? The health and well-being of the people will take precedence over transportation and infrastructure in contrast to the traditional layout of cities. Only 200 meters in width, but 170 kilometers in length and 500 meters above sea level. And when we take a look at its structure, it's jaw-dropping. The project depicts two identical structures that resemble walls running parallel to one another and enclosing a space in between them. The designers of the line envision the building's exterior as covered in a mere facade, which will lend the structure a personality all its own. Buildings, multiple layers of public parks and pedestrian spaces, schools, homes, and places of employment are going to be constructed on the interior of the structure. The traditional models of urban planning assume that urbanization develops in a vertical rather than a horizontal direction. The designs revealed today for the city's vertically layered communities will challenge the traditional flat, horizontal cities and create a model for nature preservation and enhanced human livability, said Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and chairman of the NEOM Board of Directors. The line will tackle the challenges that humanity faces in modern urban life and will shed light on alternative ways to live. According to Tarek Kadumi, the executive director for urban planning at NEOM, NEOM also conducts research on environmentally friendly construction practices and materials. Their investigation into the steps that can be taken to eliminate carbon emissions from a city with 9 million residents is ongoing. Zero-gravity urbanism is the name that the developers have given to the concept. This construction will result in walls that are planned to be higher than many skyscrapers. including the Empire State Building, which will rise to a height of 500 meters above sea level. The urban life in The Line is organized in three-dimensional space. Two offshoots of zero-gravity urbanism are referred to as hyper-proximity and hyper-mixed use. The hyper-proximity city model places a higher priority on multimodal transportation as opposed to designing around the automobile. According to Tara Kadumi, the idea of zero-gravity urbanism liberates us from the constraints imposed by the ground plane and the requirement to destroy it in order to build on higher ground. The model's known as zero-gravity urbanism, and it enables us to locate functions in close proximity to one another. And this opens up a whole new world of adjacencies that were previously difficult to achieve or unattainable. One possibility is to turn a school into a museum. The completion of this project will result in the addition of approximately $50 billion to Saudi Arabia's GDP and the creation of 380,000 new jobs. But as everyone knows, there are always two sides to the story, and up until now we focused on how fantastic this future city will be. But what about its downside? Let's talk about what critics have to say about it, shall we? The idea that is typically attributed to those who are critical of traditional urban planning and the quality of life in large cities. As stated earlier, the total land area that will be affected by the project is 34 square kilometers. It indicates a living space that is less than 4 square meters per individual. The models referred to by NEOM as The Line is a carbon zero eco-city, but the scale of the project and its social goals raise serious concerns about whether or not it can actually deliver on its environmental promises. There are concerns among professionals in urban planning and design regarding the practicability and long-term viability of the project in relation to modern society. With the technology available today, is it possible for such a megastructure to have zero carbon emissions? Materials used in such a project would result in approximately 1.8 million tons of carbon emissions, as stated by Philip Oldfield, head of the Built Environment School at the University of New South Wales. More than many European countries' annual carbon emissions. Unfortunately, using concrete, steel, and glass to create a massive building that emits no carbon dioxide is currently impossible with today's technology. The biodiversity of the area is threatened by the project because of the 500-meter mirror walls that separate it from the outside world. Large parallel mirrors in the middle of the desert are bad for the environment, especially for animals, even if it means allowing birds to freely enter and exit the structure. More than that, the city has a horizontal character. Although horizontal is an urban model, the perception is that it is a 170-kilometer street surrounded by walls and skyscrapers that are 500 meters high. However, NEOM's representation of the linear city concept is not novel. Arturo Soria y Mata, a Spanish urban planner, created it in 1882. Moreover, his idea of a linear city has become iconic, and the idea was developed further in the 1950s by German architect Ernst May and Soviet planner Nikolai Alexandrovich Milutin, both of whom were influenced by Soria y Mata. As an additional example, in the 1960s, American architects Michael Graves and Peter Eisenman envisioned a 35-kilometer-long linear city stretching from Boston to Washington. In Madrid, Spain, the traditional linear city plan proposed by Justo Soria y Mata was built. However, if these plans are put into action, Saudi Arabia stands to gain greatly. So, that just about does it for our video today, explorers. Please give us a thumbs up so we can be encouraged to create more content like this. And please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel.